Welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're talking about another great App Lab game. You mentioned it on Monday, though. It's been a little bit since we've talked about an App Lab game.
It's been a minute.
It actually, I didn't realize it, and then as soon as you said it, I was like, oh man, where's our App Lab love been?
Yep, it's been diverted.
I think it's, hey, last time we went on a little App Lab spree, a bunch are now on the official store. I'm not going to say we have anything to do about it, but you know what? It's time to start doing some more App Lab again. You know, there's some real gems on there. And that includes the one we're talking about today, which is Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu, made by developer Ben Olden Games and published by Click Games. And this game is a 4.9 overall on the App Lab store, with 76 reviews and 76 total ratings and 59 written reviews, which is pretty normal for App Lab games, but it's cool to see the 4.9.
Yeah, that I wasn't expecting such a high constant with the score.
No,
4.9 is damn good.
That's the highest on the store. There's only a few games that have 4.9 on the official store. I mean, granted, App Lab is its own thing, but it's impressive to see, and I think it's because, we'll get into it more, but this is just a great genre that I think resonates with a lot of people. But nonetheless, the game came out May 10th, 2022, so not too long ago.
Just over 5 months.
Yeah, and that's not bad. I've seen a couple updates, including they did something for, every year it seems for Halloween, it seems like they do a little push to get developers to do updates for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember it last year and this year, we've seen a couple different developers do them, like Mother Gunship Forge, which we love. They did a Halloween update.
Yep.
Yeah, added the little spooky hats, some spooky
parts.
parts.
Pop One did. Brought down the howling wolves in the background.
In Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu, they did.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, their little one is you fight zombies and stuff like that. So it's a game that's gone through some updates even in those 5 months. So it's not at all like an abandoned project. But this game is $29.99 on App Lab. Maybe one of the more expensive App Lab games I've seen.
Maybe one of the more expensive games on the store as well.
Yeah, that was interesting. That, I will say, my initial impression on that, I was like, ooh, I'm a little taken back. Like, the graphics don't look,
It's a little steep.
Yep, but, diving into it, I can kind of see, not kind of, I definitely see that $30 of value in the campaign, all the different characters, the replayability, etc.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, I still have like $24.99 is probably the sweet spot for it. But
I can't disagree with that.
I get it. I mean, I didn't put all the time in, and it's not small. It's not like you're going to be done in an hour. There's just no friggin' way.
If you want my honest opinion, I do agree with you that $24.99 is the real sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
You could even argue $19.99 while it's on App Lab, and then if it goes to the official store, drop another update, boom, $25.
Has anybody done that though?
It seems like no. It seems like that the price when it goes from the App Lab to the official store remains the same.
Kind of like if you were good enough to have that price on App Lab, then you should be good enough to keep it on the store. But $29, I mean, full disclosure, it's a little steep.
It is. I can't deny it. I do agree with you. $24.99 is probably the real money number for this.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like much, but the difference psychologically between 25 and 30 is big.
Yeah.
Even though it's only $5, But that's not to say the game's not worth $30. I had a blast with it, and we'll get into it. But, just full disclosure, like you said, a little steep.
Yep. You might have some sticker shock.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is Ben Olding, the developer, Ben Olding Games, while playing this, I went onto his website, and it seems like he has quite the Flash game background. I used to love Flash games. Remember when those were a hit?
Didn't? Yeah.
Dude, there were so many good ones. They were all free. There were so many websites dedicated to them. And
the problem, too, is a lot of good ones just disappeared one day, too.
Yeah, they're hard to find, and now Flash is being phased out, so there's directories and platforms and little small workarounds you can do. And
I knew Flash was getting phased out when I finally had the know-it-all to be like, I think I want to try making a Flash game. And then, to my surprise, like all the modern information ceased because there was a dying thing. I just wasn't in the loop to know.
But, Ben Olding, he actually made one that I remember, Spartacus, and it was just silly fun. It looks like that there were sequels of it. I only played the first one, But it was like, oh man, yeah, I actually played one of his Flash games.
No, that's awesome.
That's cool to see him go from that Flash game niche to VR.
Big difference.
Yeah, and it looks like that there were some Dragon Fist Flash games as well. So I wonder if it's all one big like universe he has going on. Because this game, it's called Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu. You know, right into what it is. It's a kung fu fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I would describe as beautiful jank. It's not janky in a bad way.
No.
It's got a little bit of jank, but in a beautiful, hilarious, fun way. Every time we've party chatted and played this, we're laughing.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're getting into character.
Breathing a little hard and laughing.
A lot of voices, a lot of characters, a lot of very animated party chat. It's a hilarious game. The way it works is, you know, there's a campaign mode. There's a couple other different modes. Like there's an arcade mode where, you know, you fight, you know, enemy after enemy. Like I mentioned, there's a Halloween update where you fight endless wave of zombies and you try to get on the leaderboard by killing the most amount of zombies. You know, there's like you can do like a quick match. There's a one-arm boxer mode. There's some silly stuff, but for the most part, there's the campaign. In that, you select your character, which you can change throughout the campaign, but I always stuck with just the default first character they put you on.
Really?
Yeah. Never changed my character. I was like, I want to beat this with a regular dude.
Well, first of all, they give you a huge amount of characters you can pick from.
And each has their own unique backstory.
So it's like if you've ever watched an old Chinese, or I guess this was inspired off of Chinese and Hong Kong old
Martial arts
movies, you will totally respect half the characters you'll see there. You'll be like, oh, I remember the movie that guy was in. So I have the traditional, like long straight-haired old kung fu guy with the long straight beard.
I almost make me feel like a kung fu master with him.
Yeah, he was in a couple of movies for sure. One where he didn't fare very well at the end when someone stuck their thumbs in his eye, but because he was a bad guy. But something about that. So if you were into that at all, you're gonna find definitely a character that you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta be that guy because I remember seeing him in a movie.
There's even a Bruce Lee one. Yeah. So I mean, they very Bruce Lee inspired. His name's not Bruce Lee, but it's, you know, you can see the inspiration.
Reasons? Yes.
You can see the inspiration.
He's Bruce Lee-ish.
Yeah.
So, no, there's literally a character for everybody if you have an appreciation for those movies.
And what's cool is you go through each one and it'll give you a little bio on them. Mm-hmm. Each one has a special ability, and everybody's special ability is a little different. You'll see some repeating ones, but they range quite a bit from like a powerful hit. There's some people I fought who spit stuff on me, who shot like an energy ball. There's one dude who has a gun. Like
I have the energy ball.
That's like,
yeah. My hands in some weird way.
Yep, I know exactly the dude you're playing as because I remember fighting him. Yeah. Now, is it a blue ball?
Yeah.
Yep.
Blue orb.
Yep. I know exactly the dude you're
right
fighting.
In the face with it.
Blam. Yeah, my special ability is like I move my hands into a certain ability, and then I get like a very direct, powerful strike. It kind of goes slow motion, and it does extra damage. Sometimes it'll give me like a pinpoint spot to hit.
I'd love if you could pick your character's ability though.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get into. I wish that there was a create a character because there's all these different special abilities, all these different weaknesses. Every character has a weakness. Some of the last couple of guys you fight have no weakness because they're just the last couple of guys. But most people will be like weak throat, weak sternum, slow feet, slow kicker, something like that. But then they'll also have like a perk. Like my guy, he has extra chance of staying up because when you before you get knocked down, oftentimes you're dazed, which will explain the gameplay a little bit more. But there's a chance that you just fall over instead of recovering. But the default guy that you have, he has like an extra chance of staying up, so it's pretty cool. But he has a weak sternum, so if people punch him in the stomach, he takes some extra damage.
Yeah, I also like when you get hit and you get into that dazed mode, if your opponent doesn't right off come over and knock you out with something, whether it be a karate chop or a punch to the face, your guy won't fall down and he'll kind of like come through. Mm-hmm. There was one that used some shit on me though that like made my field in view like you were squinting your eyes, so all you had was just a little band.
Mm-hmm. That happened to me with one dude who poked my eyes with something. Or spit something in my eye, something like that.
Spit thing.
I think he spit something in my eyes, and it made me like, I can't see anything.
Yeah, remind me of old WWE back in the day.
No, some of these characters are real animated.
spit some green slime in your face.
And they all look unique. Like I said, they all have their own unique bio, own unique fighting style.
I was pretty blown away that seeing the list on the screen of all the characters to pick. In my head, I had one already picked out, and then I looked around and I was like, there it is.
And there's more to unlock too. Like you unlock them by beating them throughout the campaign, but it's, you know, you don't have everybody at once, so you can already see the incentive of, all right.
Yeah, but I like my old guy.
I like my, because you get used to him, you know, you kind of get into character with it. And when you first start the game, they have you do a great tutorial where, you know, it starts, they have you like break some blocks, real simple. They teach you some different strikes, because in this you can like kind of karate chop.
Yeah.
You can punch.
You can do anything.
You can like open hand push. You can
eye poke.
You can slap, you know, front and I pimp slap a lot.
Throat punch.
You can eye, like you said, you eye poke, and it was cool. If you eye poke, you'll see the little icon come up there, and you know their sight's a little messed up.
Well, that, and they'll close their eyes, and they'll still come at you, like whoever you're fighting. But
yeah, they're more passive.
They'll close their eyes, and you can tell that they're actually blinded for a minute.
And it can happen to you too. It's similar to that same effect you had with like the squinty eyes. It's just very rare it's that extreme. Usually it squints like, you know, a third or 2/3 unless you get poked a couple times.
And what's cool is your character's hand, depending on what button you press on the controller, you can do the fist, you can do the single finger. So you can just, I'll do that sometimes. I'll just have
aim
nothing
for the
but
eyes.
yeah, I'm going for the eyeballs.
In the throat, baby. Boom.
Some of those throat punches, well, depending on your opponent and their weakness, but damn, they take a serious amount of health right off the top. But you get punched in the throat, I imagine it's going to take some serious health off you.
And this is where the beautiful Jane comes in, because there's all these different type of strikes, and like it's kung fu. So, you know, you'll see some guys moving in some crazy stances, and sometimes things will go from like fighting at a distance a bit to a lot of strikes in a second.
Oh, yeah.
And then you hit somebody really direct. It's not 100% of the time, but, you know, you get a good, like what I would call almost a critical hit. You'll see it go slow motion. You'll see them kind of like move away. And, you know, you're going slow motion too, so you can't just like spam like crazy. But it's really cool. It's like kung fu movie. You know, you whack them, they're going, poof, it makes a noise. Everything slowed down. You can do some nice follow-up shots. It's fun.
No, it's definitely a first of its kind that I've played in VR. I mean, the only thing I could equate it to would be like one of the sword fighting games or the ragdoll game. Not ragdoll. That's not, you know, just that style.
Yeah, no, it's got great physics in it. I know what you mean. When you knock somebody down, they do like a complete ragdoll. Sometimes they'll go flying.
And like, you know, what's kind of cool too is AI doesn't quit. So
no, sometimes they're low health.
Still gonna come at you.
Sometimes they're low health and they do the most damage to me. I think because I'm getting cocky, I'm like, dude, you're about to get dropped.
It could be up to 3 people. It's a 3-on-1 sometimes.
Sometimes 1-on-1, sometimes 2-on-1.
I'll take the 1-on-1s all day. Them 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s. It's not like the opponent's gonna sit there and wait, like, oh, I'll let my buddy go. No, they're both coming at you.
I try to fight defensively, and those like run away and back up and let one come at me, and then like burst at one. And
I usually single out one until I can get them dazed, and then I go right for the other one. But just because I do that with one doesn't mean that would work with a different, because each, like you had referenced, each enemy has its own martial arts. So this guy might be kung fu, this guy might be a boxer, this guy might be aikido.
Yeah, you fight everybody a little different.
This guy's karate, this guy's, you know, old friggin', you know, Americanized kung fu. So it's a lot more than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, and the way it works, there's like health bars above the enemies, and then you have a health bar on your left hand, and then on your right hand's like your special meter that you fill up by blocking strikes. And then when it's full, obviously you do whatever your special attack is, whether it's, you know, a powerful strike, energy ball, a gun, whatever. So oftentimes when you hit somebody, you'll see their health go down, and it happens with you too. Like your health will go down, but there's 2 types of like health decreases. There's like, you know, the permanent amount it's down, but then there's like it's like a grayed out part of your health, and it happens to them too, where like it'll recover if you don't get hit. So if you hit the opponent really good, they might lose only a little bit of their permanent health, but a lot of temporary health. So what that means, you can't really just sit back and let them, you know, recover. Like, boom, you got to stay on them, baby. And it rewards combos a lot. Like single strikes, you know, you can get on a powerful hit, a nice critical, but the more shots that you hit in a row, it does like combo multiplier.
Yeah.
You'll even see like combo, 5 combos, 60% damage increase, whatever. And that's when you see their health just melt.
My max combo so far is 9.
Well, what's cool on your campaign, because you go into the campaign, you'll see
Stats.
you'll see everybody fight. Yeah, there's a stat board. It'll tell you how many rounds you've won, how many you've lost, how many fights you've won, how many fights you've lost, how many times you've been hit, your total damage, and it tells you all of that info. So that stuff's very trackable.
And the campaign's also unlockable progression. So
yeah,
you're never gonna finish unless it's star based. So it's a 3-star based, but you need a certain amount of stars or total number of stars to unlock the next thing, and then so I mean, I don't think you can finish the game 1 star again.
No, and the way it works is to get 3 stars. So you load in, let's say it's a 1v1 match. Your guy has 3 health, like 3 full health bars, meaning you can get knocked down 3 times before you're out. But that's the same thing for the opponent. And if you knock them down all 3 times and don't get knocked down once, that's 3 stars. If you get knocked down once, so you had 2 healths left, that's 2 stars. If you win with only 1 health left, you get 1 star. So,
and you can redo matches. So if you're a star whore.
Yeah, I was doing that for a while. I would abandon a fight if I got knocked down once, and I would just do it again.
The other night I was like, I saw one of the earlier fights I had done. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was a 2-star. Like, I didn't know it was such an early one. I figured, just assumed it must have been a hard one. So, no, I went back in there and 3-starred it. How can you not? Because I feel like you need the stars.
I was obsessed with the 3 stars for a while. I didn't start settling with 2-star until close to the end. And then the last couple fights I settled with 1-star because they were just damn hard. Because every time before you fight an opponent, it'll say, what their difficulty percentage is. And it starts at 0% and it goes all the way up to 100%. But I'll tell you right now, there's a range to the 100%. Because a couple of the last people I fought, they had 100% difficulty. And then there were some more people after that had 100% difficulty. And I was like, oh, this is harder.
I think I was saying it's really 105%, isn't it?
We're up to 120 by the end, baby. Shit gets hard.
Surpassed the 100%.
Yeah, there were some of those last people I was hitting them, and there was just no damage being done. And here's the thing: there's difficulties in the game, and I think I was playing on easy. I think that there's 4 difficulties, and I'm like, dude, I can't imagine these last couple
like
people
insane level
on the hardest. It'd be ridiculous.
What is cool is the developer has gone out of their way to tell you to make sure to stretch and loosen up before playing. And man, be wary of walls, everything. The boxing games, I seem to be less, I'll just say crazy.
Less immersed.
This is friggin' karate and shit. So when I'm doing karate chops, what do you think? I'm fouling through. I'm coming across. Like if well, this is awesome. I had my opponent dazed. Instead of just walking over and punching him to do the knockdown or whatever, no, I went over and made him flip behind me. Like that,
like a finisher, basically.
So it's like that is one thing I wish they had, like
a fatality.
Yeah, like
well, you can kind of make your own. But here's the problem: there's sometimes I went to go get creative while they were dazed, and then they recovered.
Yeah,
and then they did a little extra damage to me, and I'm like, oh, I was chasing that 3 stars,
And what's wicked cool, one of my favorite. Doesn't even need to be their feature of this game is like when you go for your finishing move, the whole map changes to like small view, I'll call it. Like your character is like 6 inches tall.
Spectator view is what they call it. It's one of my favorite.
It is so friggin' cool. It is so good. I wish I could play my character because if you move your arms around, you'll see your character moving his arms around. You just can't physically move.
Yeah, there's in
the arena.
If you go into the options, which I'll give them a credit, that's something that every game is different. This game gives you
a lot of options.
All of the options. Yeah. Left-handed mode, which
what's your issue? Sitting, standing, recalibrate your height, whatever you want.
They give you everything, and one of the things that you can turn on is the ability to access spectator mode during the match by pressing a button. But when you do it, like exactly what you said, you can fight with it. I've knocked people down in spectator.
Not moving with it.
Yeah, you can't walk around, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could exactly what you said.
It's a cool visual, like if almost like tabletop.
If they could figure out a competitive online mode, that spectator mode would be so entertaining to watch 2 people fight.
Oh yeah,
you can watch two computers fight. There's a CPU versus CPU mode.
When I first saw that spectator mode, I was like, this is friggin' cool.
It's
But then
hilarious.
I was a little bummed I couldn't walk around and shit.
So when I say beautiful jank, I don't mean that at all insultingly. It's the things like the spectator mode where you see your guy standing completely still. He's not moving at all besides his arms, but it's just, it looks a little janky, but it's beautiful. It's awesome. I have so much fun with it.
No, graphically, it's definitely not the worst. I mean, I'll flat out say it because other people have set the bar so high, but it's not the best and it's not the worst.
No, it's average. Gameplay's super fun. You're gonna get a good sweat. There's the campaigns.
Yeah, good sweat's an understatement. I told you I sweat more with this than I do with boxing.
And look at this. There's
Crazy.
40 different characters in it. So I imagine, I didn't count every campaign level. I'm pretty sure there's 40 different campaign levels, right? When you first start the campaign, let's say the way it works is that there's different levels, and each level has anywhere from, at the end, there's only one people for a level, but that's very rare. For the most part, they have anywhere from 3 to 4 different enemies per level. And at the start, you only have, 3 different levels unlocked, let's say. I forget exactly how it started. It took me a little bit to get through the campaign.
Don't even call them levels, call them areas.
Yeah, areas. That's a good way to put it. So, 3 areas, but in each area, you might only have 1 or 2 of the enemies unlocked to potentially fight. And then you'll see for the later levels, it'll say, you need 60 more stars to unlock. And then also to get each different character to fight in the levels you've already unlocked, you need X amount of stars. And it's interesting because some of the first levels, or first areas, I'll say, I didn't unlock the 4th character to fight until very late in the game. It's interesting the way that was structured.
No, it's almost like and I kind of think I'll take a guess why, but
you bounce around if you're going to follow progressively.
Yeah, you would think like, okay, there's 3 different fights I have to do in the first area.
Yeah, so you'll do them right in a row? No.
So maybe it's in like, I'll use the boxing ring one because they have the boxing ring area.
Which was one of my favorite ones.
So there might be 3 different fights you're going to have to do, but you might do that one and then it's going to tell you your next fight is like a totally different area that you've already done and it's now your second fight. It's pretty unique.
Yeah, so you'll balance all around, and like, man, I can't believe how much time I spent replaying fights being OCD about getting 3 stars versus when I decided like those last, maybe 10 enemies to just screw it, whatever. I blew through it lightning quick because, man, some of those are really hard to get 3 stars. Like you mentioned, you might be outnumbered. If you're fighting 2 enemies, I noticed they only each have 2 health.
Yeah.
Bars instead of 3, but guess what?
Still gotta knock them down twice.
That's a total of 4 people you gotta knock down instead of 3 that you're usually fighting. It's the number's still not in your favor to be easier.
What else I kind of like is since each enemy, and I shouldn't call it your opponents, each have their own unique style of martial arts.
So movement, everything, strikes.
If you can avoid them while they're coming at you, you can see like, okay, well that's what this one's gonna bring to the table. So you'll see where your opportunities lie for either blocking, towards the end game of their strikes or, maybe more preferably bum rushing them and beating them to the punch per se.
And they all have different stances. Like I said, movement. There's one guy, there's a drunken fighter. Like he does that drunken kung fu.
I'll tell you what, though, the women are the most badass fighters in this game.
Some of the women I had to, especially when I was chasing 3 stars, it was a problem.
Yeah.
Some of them.
I think the second woman I fought, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on.
They make these characters tough.
They jacked up the AI a little on this one. Probably thinking you're going to let your guard down. Don't, because she's going to kick the shit out of you.
And I love to see how my play style developed throughout the campaign. Like, there was a time that I was like a little bit of a jabber. I would stay on the outside. I would just kind of jab them to death. I was like, you don't know nothing about the jab in kung fu, And then there's other times I was doing much more kung fu-y. Like I would go with the open palms. There's even sometimes I would like swat their lead hand out of the way, then come over the top with a swat. Wata! Like I had so much fun. Then other times I would be like a lot more aggressive with punches. I would like kind of like go to get a big critical punch with a straight, and if they went that slow motion, slow pushback, I would just run forward with my character because you can move with the analog sticks now, like you just have to move in real life. So I would just chase them down with straights, jab, straight, jab, punches. Straight, jab, straight. And then towards the end, I would say around the halfway to end part, I fell in love with body work. Like the only way I was beating those last enemies, I was ripping body shots. I'm saying like full Western boxing. I was, go to the side, rip the liver with the other punch. I'd see them get rocked. I'd just chase body shots. It was amazing. And then, you'd start to see, I'd wait for the second I saw their hand drop, and I'd be like, I'm Roy Jones Jr. now. I'd start throwing the lead hook. Just had too much fun.
No, I had more fun than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the whole karate aspect of it. Even when you use your special, when you want to use your special move, when your bar is all charged up and you press the A button, it's going to show you 2 outlines of how to position your arms and hands. Like in my particular case, it had to be hand over hand like this because the
You're
orb's
making a
in
ball.
the middle. Yeah, and then you, wow.
And again, every character special is different.
I talk so much shit when I play this.
Me too. It was hilarious listening to the party chat. It was hilarious.
Poor AI.
And dude, you could sit there and spend 15 minutes reading every character's bio, going one by one, just deciding who you want, who aligns with you.
No, it's pretty expansive.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's definitely not being ignored in any stretch of the imagination.
No, it seems
like
like
they
there's
add
more
the
to come.
Halloween. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some coming soon shit.
Oh my god, the gameplay was so fun though. It was so fun fighting in the game.
No, I think you did a good job of paying respect to the old movies.
And I won't lie.
Not to cut you off, the only thing it's missing, because you see it right in the description of the game, Chinese, Hong Kong, old martial arts movies, they need to offset the dubbing for the characters when they talk to you, because each character before you fight has some
lines,
to say,
a little unique to them too.
Makes them. And then, but it'd be like, wow, that would have been a lot cooler if they dubbed it so the mouth was moving and then the words came out after.
that would
you know
have
what I'm
been
saying?
beautiful.
But I think people would have been like, it's not sunk.
No, I don't.
Up right.
I think it would have gone over so many people's head that for those who, it would be cool if in the settings there's a dub
I was going
mode.
to say, with all the options that they do give you, the authentic dubbing mode would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. I'd put this up with Swordsman VR for like lengthy App Lab games. Like, holy moly, this is a lot of content. Yeah, it's on App Lab.
Similar AI with the.
It fights really good. Some of the guys are difficult,
dude. For over 40 enemies.
No, there is on the description on the store page. It says 40 different enemies.
Yeah,
and that sounds
actually,
right.
But let me take that back, because that's 40 enemies, but
or 40 different characters. 40
yeah.
different characters.
And if there's 3 or 4 different fights per area, each enemy in the same area's style is the same. I think the style breakup only changes per
unique area.
Yeah,
like they all fight
like
similar.
the
The boxing gym are all going to. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like the Wing Chun schools are all going to fight a little Wing Chun.
Or the.
Geez, how many areas would you say there were? Probably like 12, 13, something like that.
There were aspects to this game that definitely exceeded my personal expectation.
Mm-hmm. As soon as I saw the length of the campaign, like I loaded into it, I was like, "There's the $29.99." I saw the characters, I saw the difficulty, saw the game modes. I was like, I understand the $29.99 now.
Play it for 10 minutes and watch your Oculus move tell you that you've like more than hit your. Listen, you've doubled it. You're good. You can calm down. I play with intent, dude.
It was a fun VR experience. It just was. It was like getting into character. Like you said, playing with intent. There were sometimes I was really into it. I was like,
dude, anytime Tracy stood up, because she's like, you don't understand what you look like playing this. It's
swinging haymakers.
Fucking dangerous. So she'll like touch my back real quick. And I can tell she's probably doing it from a distance, like poke, because I might turn all the way around and be swinging big karate blows. And I love doing like the face right there. Wham!
Right to the nose.
And I find myself doing authentic, like, like trying to be as authentic as I can.
Yeah.
But just like Unplugged, if you videotaped it, it's not going to look like you're thinking.
I probably look so ridiculous.
I know I do.
Dude, and there were some times like.
I was called out on it. I know I do.
There was a couple times where I would say, screw it. Like I'm just gonna go down swinging, and I would end up doing really good, and then it would, but like I must have looked so ridiculous because I would just be like, I'm loading up the biggest shots. And
makers.
There was a time that I was obsessed with like kind of pimp slapping.
Yeah,
like I was open handing, Boss Rutan style. I was just like, I'd sit there, I'd swat your hand out of the way, and I'd smack. Then God forbid I saw them go slow motion. I'd go smack. The left hand comes out of nowhere, wide, smack. The right one comes back, smack. Maybe a little backhand, smack. The game was, oh my God, so much fun. And I love that you can do the swat the hand away, then hit them, poke them in the eye.
Yeah, no, they really, I mean,
hit them in the throat.
They'll go over it. Like you said, the tutorial's really good. But
the tutorial had me sold.
The more karate or kung fu-ish you behave, the better the game's going to be, because they want you to block with your arms. And
it's how you build up your special meter, is
and
by
you'll
blocking.
hear it makes cool little slap sounds when you block. So you get in close, you guys can really knuckle it up before someone gets punched.
And some of those last enemies, like, I would go to brawl with them, and they were just so powerful. Like, I had to be so smart defensively, because if they hit me, it was like a third gone. And I even went back and fought one of the earlier enemies and just muffed them, because I was like, oh yeah, you're so easy now, you know? At the time, it felt hard, but no. Now I know how to play.
I think this is really the first. This is the first one like this on the store, or even an app lab, right?
Yeah, it's weird hybrid, because it's not trying to be a boxing game. And hey, wait, sorry to get sidetracked. Something that we have to give them a lot of props for. They do full body. You have legs.
Yeah,
you have arms.
Legs.
You see him moving the whole time.
Your guy can kick and he can jump.
Yep, you kick with pulling down the down trigger. You jump with the up, not down trigger, the analog stick down.
And I find the jumping to be keeping true to that
Kung Fu movie.
Old
style.
Kung Fu movie style, where you're going to, you're going to jump completely over somebody if you want, for sure. But if you use your kicks all the time, the enemy will know it and you lose stamina. The AI is good. I think the AI is fair for each person you fight.
Yeah, it makes sense. You feel like you're fighting their style.
And you know what you're getting into, because it might say, like, look, this enemy's 67% difficulty. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to earn this one a little more than.
And again, it goes all the way up to 100. But I'll tell you, like I said earlier, there's levels to the 100. I'll tell you right there.
120.
It's funny when you get to the end and those last couple guys, like I said, you see their perks, and then it says weakness, and it goes none. And you're like, they don't even. I love when they have a weak body, because like I said, I started working them.
Weak chin.
It'll say weak. There's some guys that do have a weak chin.
Yeah.
There's one dude who had a weak chin, and I was like, I'm freaking coming for you. You know.
I definitely not shitting on boxing games because I like them, but I like this style, I think, a little more.
I do, because it was silly.
And I like that the AI chases you down versus boxing games is pretty stationary, fixed dodge and weave. It's like this, your character can walk around, you can go behind a person, you can jump over the person.
None of them have an expansive career like this either. Like, the Creed boxing game was pretty short with their career.
Not this many hours, dude.
Golden Gloves just came out. We're still going through that. They have kind of like a list of enemies, but I don't think it's 40 different like this. And what's interesting about this is the way that each different character has its own bio. They're unique. Even if they have this similar fighting style, there's still some uniqueness to them in animation and how they look and how they move. Characters have different outfits too.
Yeah, dude. There's, like I said, it's very unique for what it is. I appreciate what it is. I like that style of beating the shit out of someone like that. All the games that we've played some of them have brought the worst in me.
Yeah, it feels like a kung fu movie, and going for that, I think they really knocked that feel out of the park.
Definitely. And to me, were hitting it right with the character selection. I'm like, okay. This is I'm kind of liking this.
Again, when I saw the difficulties, when I saw the list of characters, and then I saw the tutorial, and then I saw the campaign length, I was like, $29.99 makes sense now.
No, I do get the price.
The hesitancy that I was referring to in the beginning is like a lot of it is just that initial sticker shock of like you're scrolling through, you looking at App Lab games, and you see that.
You're gonna friggin' work out to play this. This isn't gonna be a casual because I always thought of the replayability for me personally with it. And it's like, dude, you're going in there. If it's late at night, you're going to get your heart rate up right before bed. So.
We did talk about this on Monday, because it's an App Lab game. When we do get to our, not app. Yeah, we made a change. Yes. Basically. Going forward, the review system for App Lab games is replacing replayability with, I love the name you came up for it. Store worthiness. So we don't have to whine, because again, we don't know the details of their coding to know technically why it's not on the store, but
sometimes we feel compelled to be like, why isn't this on the store?
We'll still say it sometimes, you know.
Yeah. So
like Swordsman VR.
this kind of puts a numerical value to the overall rating system. To I mean, hey, there's been some App Lab games we played that if this category existed, it would have been not very well perceived on their end for being worthy of being in the store. I mean, but at the time, for whatever the project that was, I think it would have been fitting. Where others, we would have been like, nope, it's a 20. It's a 20. It's got to be a 20. You know, why isn't it on the store?
So this episode features a little debut. You know, like I said, new rating system.
Change it up for App Lab rating, which we do for other things as well when it makes more sense, I think.
Yeah. We've done it before for like more movie things and things like that. It's
Yeah,
smart.
like some things you're not
going
to have replayability for.
Is it not even fair? We've done it for more story-based games like Green Hell and stuff like that. How are you going to hit Green Hell right now with replayability? You know, it just doesn't make sense. It's a story-based game, you know? Dude, there's one... it was just so beautiful. I wish I had it recorded. There's one shot that I got off on somebody, and it was early on in my playing, and it was one of those, like, it locked me into the game. It was like, it sold me on it, you know? But I've never been able to duplicate the strike. I just loaded up, and I popped a dude with a straight right so hard, and it went like, it hit him so perfectly on the chin, and on that moment, it did the slow motion, and it just looked so, like I saw everything just change in his face, just the jaw move, the whole face moved to the side. It was like, oh my God, that looks so much like a slow motion moment in a movie.
I like when you pop someone good in the chest or in the face and they fly. Again,
sometimes unrealistically, sometimes like a kung fu movie.
Exactly. So it's like, it's feeding that expectation I would have by it claiming influenced by, you know, old Chinese and Hong Kong movies.
Well, it's better to go that route. I think something that a lot of boxing games struggle with is in other combat games like that, sword fighting games, that they try to go for the most realistic feel. Like, we have to make this as realistic as possible. This is a kung fu movie game. Doesn't need to be realistic with the move.
Yeah, no, trust me, nobody's gonna pull out a spike disc
but it's fun.
It's gonna flip around the room and chase after you.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, that won't happen in real life, but it'll happen in this game.
It's definitely unique, and
it's a good workout.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
But it's one of those, like, you don't mean to work out so
sweat
hard.
Hit me in the eyeball the other night when we were playing, and I was on the party chat. I'm like, dude, a ball of sweat is in my eyeball, and instead of, like, I don't know, pausing, just click into my, like, home menu. No, I continued to play, like, keeping my right eye shut just because I wanted to win the damn fight.
I remember one of the days we played, like, you know, I train jiu-jitsu Monday through Friday. Some days I'm sore, I'm tired, but at nighttime when we play, I don't want to go swinging my arms around. But I remember I was like, oh, I'm so sore and tired, but I want to play this game so bad. Fuck it, I'm still going to just play. And then I played, I had a great time, and I'm like, damn, you know, it's a good game when I'm still going in, you know, knowing I'm sore and stuff like that, and you just completely forget about it while you're playing because it's so immersive and fun. You do accidental exercise here.
No, the other day I was complaining, I think right when I threw my first punch, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, my arms are so sore from work today. It's not even funny.
Probably did like 10 matches.
But yeah, that's the other problem is, like, I was like, well, I'll only do a couple, you know, just because I'm sore. And then, you know, 3 minutes later, I'm like, I'll just do one more.
It happens to me every time I play.
I'll just do one more. I'll just do one more. An hour later, and I realize I'm still doing one more. I'm doing another one. So yeah, it has a weird... And I think it's just because of the uniqueness of all the opponents, to be honest with you. If it was repetition with, like, they're coming at you the same way.
And after you beat every guy, it shoots you back to the main campaign part. So then you're like, oh man, I could get one more done.
Yep.
You know, it's like it has that one more round feeling it's between the uniqueness of the characters, the funness of the gameplay, and the fact that they shoot you back to see your progress. How do you not do one more? You're like, I can chip away one more. What's it gonna take? 3 minutes?
Yeah, no, this game has a lot of potential.
Yeah, and Ben Olding, man, that was really cool to see somebody go from Flash games over to VR games. So I'd love to have him on the podcast. He'd probably be a fun dude to talk about too.
Yeah, definitely got to be somewhat of a funny guy.
Yeah. So
I don't imagine him being very dry.
No. I think he's from the UK, so most of the British people, they're usually pretty funny. Good sense of humor.
Benny Hill, you know, he was funny.
So
that might not go over well with everyone, but he was funny.
So you want to get into our final thoughts and our rating?
Yeah, man. I was just happy that we got to spend some time back on App Lab.
No, definitely we need to go back to giving some love to it.
Yeah. Well, part of the beauty of taking a little break from App Lab for a while is you kind of let that App Lab store build up. And just like everything else in VR, you know, wasn't here today. There's 20 new things here tomorrow. But this one was definitely, I almost wish we had like a hidden gem category because, you know, no bullshit before we get into ratings. Excluding the price, if it was legit 19 or 24, I would have to say it's probably one of App Lab's best hidden gems.
And something that, you know, one more thing to say before we get into final thoughts rating. I just meant to say it before and it slipped my mind, but I'll hate if I don't get it in. I think a big reason that it has a 4.9 overall is because you see Dragon Fist Kung Fu and it says it's inspired on like martial arts movies. You're only buying this game if you're interested in that style, right? It's like, if you're like, oh, that doesn't sound appealing to me, you're not going to spend $30 on it.
Dude, you can eye poke.
Exactly. If you see that, like your imagination starts to go crazy, then you go into it, you see all the different characters, you do the tutorial, you see all the different strikes, you're like, oh yeah, 5 stars. It's like anybody who's willing to buy a game with this genre, this appeal to it, is going to love it, you know?
Yeah, like I said, the character selection pretty much had me sold, and I hadn't even really done shit.
Say it. So. Character selection and that tutorial where they teach you all the different strikes, and you're like, again, there's something about the eye pokes. Like, dude, I can eye poke.
Yeah, and they respond.
Yep. You'll see all the different icons for like what negative effect is going on. You'll see they're blind. You'll see they have sternum damage. You know, whatever.
I do wish that, like, all right, this will be my selfish. This is the selfish portion for me of what I wish by putting no effort into making it happen. I wish that if you block, because every block is a strike and every strike is a block. So I wish, like, if you blocked their punch real well, like their arm might dangle, like you broke their bone. And I wish facial defects would start showing
like
up.
Bruising, cuts.
Man.
Yeah, I agree.
You stick your finger in someone's eye, guess what? It's going to be pretty black
it
and
should
blue.
be red.
Yeah,
red eyeball, whatever.
Maybe some
bloody
blood.
lip.
Correct. Swollen face.
Oh, I'm sold. I agree.
Because that would
agree.
If they could do something like that in any game, really, I would be more inclined to just sit there and keep tagging you. I won't want to knock you down. I just want to see how bad I can get the gore factor going on the face.
Oh, I would be a jab machine again. I would be like, I don't care about combos anymore. I want to bloody you up.
Because I was like, what could they really even bring to this that other than multiplayer that would
but I can
fighting
see
a human being would be pretty but you're not both using karate.
No,
you know?
it would be I could see the issues because it would probably look crazy. You guys would both be fighting so unrealistic.
Yeah,
you'd be swinging on. It'd be like a slap fight by the end, you know?
Yeah, this kind of forces you, and you have to adapt to all those different styles. So some of those low styles too, where they get low to the ground.
Different height people, different sized.
Oh yeah,
man, it goes deep.
And each one's got its own personality and character. It's cool.
And again, the bio. I had fun looking through each bio. You know, it was cool. But we'll get into the final thought.
Well, how's this? You know, if someone's going to take the time to put that much energy and effort into just the bio of a character, then you know that they put a shit ton of effort into the actual game.
Voice characters, I'm pretty sure it's the same couple people doing all the voices, maybe even like the same 1 or 2 people.
They weren't bad, though.
No, they were great voices. Each character has its own lines, though. It's cool. And like they don't always say the same thing every time before you fight them.
No, it's probably like that old, pull the string in the back of a talking stuffed
it'll
animal.
Say something.
It'll eventually say the same shit again.
I'm getting a couple different outfits per character, so cool stuff. But we'll get into the final thoughts and rating. And before that, I'll say if you've been enjoying this episode, like always, be sure to subscribe, rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen on, and definitely check out our official subreddit, our Discord, and our Patreon server. Got a whole bunch of different subscriber perks. We got all the different links for that right in our show notes, the episode description. So if you don't know what that is, go look at like the description for this episode. You'll see all of that fun stuff there. All right, so we'll be back with you in just a moment. And in the meantime, listen to some nice little ad reads. Sweet. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in Metaquest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The Metaquest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. with lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered.
Today's episode is sponsored by True Classic. Guys, let's get real for a second. Your significant other will be way less upset about your gaming streak if you're looking fine as hell while you play. Finding that perfect fitting t-shirt can be a terrible experience. The thing is either way too tight, has a case of bacon neck, or is just plain big and boxy. Luckily, True Classic makes quality clothing for every guy. Whether you're on VR, PC, Xbox, PS5, or yes, even the Wii, they've made finding that perfect fit easy with their formula. A closer fit in the arms and chest to show off your muscles. We know you're getting a workout while gaming. Let those toned arms shine. Plus, they leave wiggle room in the torso to keep things cozy. All of their styles are super soft, and it's a great price for what you're getting. So guys, no excuses. Don't be a noob. Get rid of those ratty t-shirts I know that you've been hanging on to for years and get ready to upgrade. We have an exclusive deal for our listeners. We want to hook you up with some True Classic. For a limited time only, get 20% off with the code RuffTalkVR at trueclassic.com. Almost all men's t-shirts are designed to look good on a certain body type. Think skinny models with six-packs or Dscruffles over here. But most of us aren't packing anything but a few beers, and there's nothing wrong with that. My dudes, it's simple. You are wearing the wrong clothes. True Classics tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. You can throw on that True Classic with confidence, knowing they've got your bases covered. True Classic is much more than just a t-shirt company. They have all the menswear staples you could need, from polos and workout shirts with the same flattering fit to boxer briefs that'll keep your boys feeling nice and comfortable. And for any of the big boys out there, they have tall sizing and up to triple XL on all their staple colors. True Classic will make you feel your best by accentuating the places the eye goes to first. Wink, wink. Whether you have abs or a delicious, soft, creamy center, their clothes look great on all body types. Skinny guys, big guys, buff guys, gaming guys, True Classic has you covered. Get comfortable, get going, and upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com with the code word RuffTalkVR. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. 100% risk-free guarantee with a 30-day return policy. True Classic. When you look good, you feel good. Hey everyone, welcome to Fresh Ball Fall. It's the season of pumpkin spice and making sure your crotch looks nice. That means sipping cider in the fall breeze and using Manscaped products to trim your balls with ease. That's right, today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, a company here to make sure that your foliage isn't the only thing shedding its excess leaves. Heck, even Mother Nature knows it's time to lose the excess clutter for fall. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR. Whether you're brand new or already with us at Manscaped, you could use the crown jewel of care for your family jewels, the Platinum Package 4.0. With this glorious package, you can align your entire hygiene routine all in one swoop. Inside, the 10 Platinum Package is everything you know and love about the Performance Package, plus some shower goodies included to elevate your grooming game to platinum. The Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer and Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to protect your delicate parts and holes. Both are waterproof so you can keep scaping even as the weather's change. In addition to shaving, you can now completely upgrade your shower routine with the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo plus Conditioner. You'll have your skin and hair feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. Don't forget to apply their aluminum-free ultra premium deodorant, and don't worry, it's not pumpkin spice, it's a cologne quality fragrance. But we shouldn't have a signature scent for our pets. Use Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver, Ball Toner to make sure your go-to smell is top shelf and not sweaty balls. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts for their Platinum Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and Shed Travel Bag, both specifically made to hold your goodies.
Get the Platinum package this fall. These products are guaranteed to be hits for your dangly bits. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Ruff Talk VR. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the code Ruff Talk VR. Manscaped, clear out the leaves. It's your tree trunk's time to shine.
All right, so back from our little ad break with the debut of our new App Lab rating system. Literally just one subcategory, but look, we got 5 rating categories, each rated 1 to 20. I think that 5's a good number. We don't need to start to get into 7, 8 different categories, you know?
No, I think we were talking a while ago, and I was like, realistically, we could have 10 categories.
Oh,
and just
easily.
knock it down to...
It's a balance. I think exactly what I said before is what I'll say now. It's like you got to keep a balance between in-depth enough between all the different categories, but also not annoying, you know?
I also think any change we've ever made has been really with the actual benefit of the game in mind, not to like, oh, how can we harsh this out? We never want to be like unfair with a rating, and we had noticed once before that like, this rating
Didn't match what the
didn't
game's
always
no.
match the game.
And that's why we're always seeking to improve. But it's something I'll give us a lot of credit for is we're really not their negative people. I can't stand that. You know,
I don't think we've ever gone out of our way to just crap on a game.
And just for there's
for the sake of just being an asshole. No. There's no point in it.
And I will say, when we have criticisms or something a little bit more negative to say, it's not like just like blind negative. It's legit criticisms to make the game better and things that we want. You know.
I put it like this, man. The truth is if something isn't going to come across good, we're probably not going to really review it.
Agreed. We've talked about that before.
And we've had these conversations with developers before. When your product gets to a point where it's technically more reviewable, to be fair, then we'll review it. But we're not going to go out of our way to
be negative and shit on something.
Nor are we gonna be like best game ever, and
unless we really feel like it,
and then we can count the emails come Monday after or Wednesday, whatever, when people listen to it and then play the game. What kind of assholes are you guys shilling?
Yeah, we're usually pretty clear about why we feel what we do, and we're usually pretty upfront about our biases. Like, it's Star Wars, probably gonna like it. Hey, look, I like this style games. You know, we're usually, or hey, I usually don't like this style game.
I think we're pretty good with the full disclosure of things.
So for this one, just to break it down, our different categories, like I said, each rated 1 to 25. We got gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, store worthiness, the new one, and then
store worthiness,
and then value. So do you want to start or do you want me to go?
No, it don't matter.
Okay, I don't
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks now. That's not right.
It's been a minute.
Especially for App Lab. But okay, so I'll start, I guess.
Months.
I think I said a lot of what I already have to say, so I won't spend a whole bunch of time justifying my thoughts. But gameplay, I'm going to give them a clear 20 because when you look at what's on the store description, I read that I want a kung fu fighting movie inspired game. Holy moly. 40 different characters, each unique different fighting style. Like I keep saying, each with a bio, full campaign, hilariously fun, albeit maybe a little janky at times, but beautiful jank, like I keep saying. The slow motion, the different special abilities. How is it not 20? Just that campaign, so good. So gameplay is probably the easiest category. 20, I would give them more if I could. Aesthetics, just to be consistent, I'll give them a 15. No bad graphics at all. There's nothing that looks like really low res and terrible. It's just exactly what actually you said earlier, Stratus. You said that, not the best, not the worst, but it's not Red Matter or nothing or like that. If Red Matter 2 is a 20, this has to be a 15. But 15's not bad. I think we even gave Mother Gunship Forge a 15, which is like my new favorite game. So, 15's a great score. Functionality, I'll give them a 20, which I'll give them credit because some of these environments there's a lot going on. You actually mentioned it to me. You're the one who taught me it. You can interact with some of the environment and use them against the enemies too. So it's pretty impressive. It all runs with no glitches. I didn't have a single glitch that I can think of actually. No crashes, nothing like that. As well, they give you pretty much every option that you could want in the world besides, the dubbing joke that we were doing. And, you can turn on blood on and off, but it's really just like kind of like blood spraying real quick. Like classic little video game spray real quick. It's not like actual facial damage like we were wanting. But whatever. 20 on functionality, no issues there. Store worthiness for 29.99. Honestly, I gotta say that this should be an official store game with the full campaign, everything like that. I think that the $29.99 would be a lot less sticker shock if it was on the official store. It's got one of the longest fighting campaign modes on the store. I think the only combat game that I can think of that had a similar length campaign was probably be the Iron Lights one. But something about the Kung Fu game is just it's its own special. It's in a category of its own. So store worthiness, I'm gonna give them 20. I think that there's a lot of people who have a lot of nostalgic memories with these corny 1980s, martial arts movies, and I think that there's a lot of people who would have a blast, getting into character, just being ridiculous playing this game. But you kind of said it before. If there was a hidden gem category, this game would be, or a hidden gem list, this would be at the top of it. Out of its moment on App Lab, it is a hidden gem. So still worthy. I'm gonna give it a 20. And then value, I went back and forth on this. Is it 20? Is it 15? I do think it's worth $29.99. I'm not going to say that that's a bad price. I do think $24.99 just for sticker shock and everything like that might be an even better price. But I ended up, I'm going to go with 20 on value. And you know what? I woke up this morning thinking I was going to do 15. But if I just said a moment ago, it's worth the $29.99. It is. So I'm going to give them a 20 on value. The only category I knocked them on was aesthetics. I only knocked them 5 points. Ben Olding Games with Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu is getting a 95 out of me. But I'm biased. I love fighting games. You hear it when I play Thrill the Fight. I love all this stuff. I have hilarious memories watching these shitty martial arts movies. I'm biased towards this. I'm inclined to like this type of game. It had everything I wanted and more. So 95 out of 100 should be on the official store.
No, not too shabby. Okay. I can't disagree with anything you really said. Gameplay, I found it to be unique. I found it to be entertaining, a good workout. Maybe sometimes a little more intense than I wanted after a full day's worth of work. So just keep in mind when you go to play, you are going to work. But I give it a 20. I really was pretty impressed with the whole trying to keep things traditional, really encouraging you to use real karate blocks and stuff, not just, slapping or whatever. So what can you say? 20. Aesthetics, I mentioned it earlier. They're not bad. I mean, actually, when you go down into the spectator view, it's probably some of the best graphics they have on the game because everything's shrunk down in much tighter of a resolution. But they're not far off. So, I mean, they're a 15, but if depending on what improvements they might make down the road, which we don't know, we're not privy to that, maybe they would be a 20 a year from now, which would be awesome to see because if they could just up the graphics a little, but it's not taking away from the game in any stretch. Functionality, I thought for sure there'd be some sort of glitch or something. No. And I mean, sometimes you're really swinging hands too. You're not just one-handing it. Wow. You go a little spastic like I did the other night getting in the guy's grill and just like, fuck it, let me see what happens. And I'm like, damn, it actually works. So I got to give him a 20. Again, nothing. You didn't say nothing. I didn't discover anything. So to me, it worked pretty flawlessly. Store worthiness, yeah. This should be in the store. I can go. Let's blow the dust off myself. I don't know why this isn't in the store. It'd be neat to hear if their intentions are to get, or if his intention. I have a feeling this might be a studio of one. Which would make this even more incredible. So we'll say it's a studio of more than one. I'd like to know their intention, though. Do they want to go to the store? And if so, have they already looked at and what do they need to fix with these are my new App Lab questions for developers. What is it that you do need to fix currently? because what we perceive, like frame rates and stuff, it can be weird because sometimes your eye's not even going to pick up on it, but whatever. I'd love to know. But in my opinion, if this showed up in the official store, it's a one of a kind. I don't think it really has competition in this genre at all, other than saying it's a fighting game, but it's more than just a fighting game. It's a kung fu simulator, or a kung fu movie simulator. It's friggin' cool. Definitely should be on the store. I hope that's their plan for it, because I think more people would get introduced to it, and it would only help build that audience. And I can't help but think their community would be really freaking fun. Everybody kind of having a good time. Value for money. This is, I think, I think it's a 15. I mean, do you get a lot for $29? Yes, you do. Do I see any specific trademark rights that would have cost an arm and a leg in licensing, and you're charging Star Wars money? It's, so in just my opinion, I think value for money is a 15, not a 20. And that's just my personal thing. Just like you, full disclose, it's my, I love this style of gaming, and, I just think it's a little steep. I totally get that down the road, this game's probably going to be much, much, much more in its already current size, and there's going to be more. So they probably we can't go up in price 6 months from now. So they just leave it alone with the, where I'm going to really have a hard time is if I start seeing chargeable DLCs coming out for this. I go, you already charged $29.99. But that's just personal. My overall score is a 90. I still think it's a phenomenal store. I think for an App Lab game, it really rides that, consumer cusp of someone maybe not knowing all the technical shit to go, why this doesn't make really a lot of sense. I've played a lot less on the official store. And again, and there's a cool gong you can play with in your main area.
You love that thing.
That is my buddy.
It makes noise, makes a gong noise.
Yeah, you walk over, hit it with your hand, boom, and then you can rapid hit it if you want. So, I mean, the guy did a great job, and he's bringing something to the table that someone else hasn't. Multiplayer, if it forced you to use, or maybe it could be you and your friend beating up the enemy. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
I don't know what the future plan is. I'd love to know. And I'd love to know what their expectation of a store move is.
If you could play with your friend fighting enemies, it'd be so funny watching the jankiness, or like the characters move around and everything like that. It's funny how much that we're both hesitant about like shitting on stuff too heavy, because like I'm sitting here justifying 15 on aesthetics, you're justifying 15 on value. 15 out of 20 is a great score.
No, it is.
Should never have to justify 15. But yet we sit here and we say like defensively, like, this is just what I feel. And it's like, 15 out of 20, if a game got 15 on every category, that's a great game.
Yeah. It just, whatever.
No, I did the same thing with aesthetics, though.
If it wasn't 30, and I hate saying it, listen, everyone's got to eat. We're the first to say it. We're the last to eat. We'll promise you that. But 30's a little steep to get it in everyone's hands.
I have a theory.
What's that?
40 different characters, 14 different environment play areas, however many different levels it is.
Yeah.
And probably a developer of one is my guess, right? You know what that makes me think? He bought 40 different character models.
Yeah.
A bunch of different asset packs of like hairs, things like that. He bought a bunch of different environment packs. And I think the $29.99 probably comes because it's a solo dev who probably didn't have the time. This is just my guess. I don't know. He might come here and say, dude, don't insult me like that. Whatever. I didn't do any. Not that there's anything wrong with doing assets. I'm just being silly. Mm-hmm. But I have a feeling that he bought a lot of assets. Like a lot of assets.
It's possible.
Because there's so many different characters, so many different like graphical things. I don't know if he would have had time to make all those himself. 40 is a lot. Plus all the different environments. All the different little items, hairstyles.
I sometimes I see price tags for things, and I think of it from like, let's say like that young teenager who's got to ask mom or dad for money. Can I get some money for a game? It's like, how much you need? 30.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, can I get money for a game? How much you need? Yeah, 25. It's like, all right, okay, that
Well,
seems
We still are spoiled in the VR world. Where
definitely. This would be $100 game.
No, this would be
if it was
60,
on
60
Xbox,
to $70 easy at release. So
But he did a fantastic job, and
Yeah.
I want to tuck this one away as a let's come back and
Mhm.
relook at it, even if we don't necessarily do a talk about it. But just personally, I don't want to let go of it because I want to see if
I think more updates will come. We already see the Halloween one. The
Yep.
big thing I want, man, I thought a competitive mode would be cool, but I could see why it wouldn't work because of the
emotions. And
yeah.
all that. Yeah.
But I think a co-op mode would work amazing now that you said that. But
Yeah.
more than anything, I want my selfish thing. I loved your thing about the facial damage and stuff.
Yeah.
That's an amazing idea. I just want to create a character. Select his background.
What if you use your avatar? Your
Who meta avatar? Shut up. Once they get legs, I would have and then you do co-op with it. It's you and your buddy. All right, dude. That's on a wish list.
Come on, man.
Somebody needs to make a fist fighting like beat 'em up game with the meta avatars. That's co-op that you play with your friends. Maybe even pick up guns, baseball bat.
Probably do it in Horizon Worlds.
Oh my goodness, it would be so much fun.
That'd be wicked funny.
Yeah,
But no, hats off to them or him.
Yeah, or how many ever people it is. I don't know because it's called Ben Olden Games. So I go, oh, it's probably. But sometimes it's like a musician. He'll say like their musician name, but then it's a band of 6. It's like who's those other people behind you?
Right.
Not just you.
They don't count.
Yeah.
I get all the money.
So who knows? But
no, definitely want to talk to him. I definitely have some questions about the future. I'll even say it right now. I'll even ask the price tag. Maybe there was some licensing things that,
Yeah, who knows? I think my guess is asset packs. So he's probably like, dude, I'm one dude. I didn't have time to make 40 characters. Get the hell out of here.
I mean, do they have all those assets that do all the different martial arts like that? That's the only thing that got me wondering was like,
no, he probably made that himself. And who knows how did he do like body tracking?
That's what
did he have to like rent out studio time?
Made his kid do the shit.
Yeah,
do it again.
Had to buy equipment. I could see how the cost would.
Yeah, if it was
that up.
Full motion capture and all that,
especially if he's like, well, I'm not going to be on the official store, so I don't know how much I'm going to sell.
Touche.
What I sell, I have to. Maybe if anything, he went to the official store, he'd be like, shit. Now I'll go down to $24.99. Now that I know I'm going to be seen by thousands.
But basically, 2 A's from us.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
90 and a 95. That's pretty freaking good.
I'm not generous with my 95s all the time. I got to really like a game. This was one of my most enjoyed single player games, but just single player experience, I'll say, but I'm biased towards this. I love these style combat games.
Sorry, even if you were biased of 5 points, it's still a 90.
Yeah, I love the fact that you fell in love with the spectator mode right away too, because that was one of my favorite aspects right away. I fought in it in the beginning way too long.
It looks cool.
Yeah. You guys just
very cool.
Heavy feet planted, not moving, but just swinging, blocking.
Got that movie feel.
Sometimes I feel like I fight better in the spectator if there's a bunch of people around me, because I'll be aware like there's somebody behind me. I love the eye pokes too.
Well, yeah, the field of view is totally
yeah. I would love to be able to watch somebody play too.
Watching matches would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Again, you can watch CPU versus CPU, but that's different than knowing it's somebody.
Yeah. That's my buddy fighting there.
Yeah. Oh man, you have me hooked on the idea of a co-op mode now. I never even thought of that.
There's a lot of potential.
Fight,
who knows?
Fight 2 to 4 enemies at a time.
Maybe you talk to him and he's like, "Nah, man, I killed that project."
Mm-hmm.
But we know
we're on
that's
to the
not
next.
True.
We're on to Dragon Fist 2.
This thing came out in May. You're figuring at least 2 years for him to make this. So I mean, I'll give hats off to that because the graphics to look that good. If it is a solo dev, it's like, damn, dude,
and absolutely top of a hidden gems list. If
you
you like this style setting,
you just want a karate game in VR that doesn't exist today. That has all that aspect of, you can't torture the enemy, but
I will say I've never wanted full body tracking more.
Right,
like to be able to kick with my legs.
Yeah,
my poor house, though, I'm so
like, dude,
you're like that's a divorce waiting to happen.
Oh, yep, that is a divorce in the works.
Start throwing spinning back kicks, crane kicks. I'd be crane kicking.
I think that was one of the first things when you're like, dude, I wish I had full body tracking for this. I'm like, oh yeah, I can see someone whipping a spinning, no training at all. Yeah. Like I can do a roundhouse kick and you just hear that TV smash.
I just love to be able to start throwing leg kicks at people because you know what?
Yeah,
I want to hit those legs. Let me leg kick them. Bam.
And then they put a power meter on it like they do for the arms and stuff. So they know if you hit it hard enough. So now you're really throwing those legs.
You see the guy's legs. His legs completely go out like you knock him down with it. Oh, man, it would be so much fun. I feel like leg kicks you could probably get away with doing safely in your environment. Maybe. Yeah, the kicks are
I
tough.
say that, but I've hit my ceiling fan too many times.
The day there's a full body trackings like readily available on standalone devices, no no attachments necessary, just enough cameras and the tracking's tight enough, whatever. Imagine a kickboxing game.
Right.
But again, that's trouble with room space. You got to be like, yo, go into an empty room. You set your guardian sensitivity.
You know, we're
to
going to
the
reach a point where it's like haptic feedback won't be enough, and people will be like, no, I really
want
want
the
to
pain.
I need the pain.
I want a shock.
Basically, you got to pay somebody to stand in your room with a hammer and wait for you to take a blow and then beat something. Oh, you got hit in the knee, did you?
Oh, shit. Make it stop.
Like the old Boston cops, you know.
Oh, too funny.
Heard you got a problem now, do you, laddie? No, officer.
As you can tell, we had a lot of fun
Yeah,
in the party
this
chat
one-
playing this one.
This was fun. A lot of shit talking, even though it's not co-op or multiplayer. A lot of, I'll say, getting into character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll be nice. I won't be my character, but my character's cool.
Yeah.
You can be one too.
Oh, man. With 40 different characters, you'll find one for you. I promise. It's
Guaranteed.
cool.
I guarantee if you were into those old movies like I was,
And you
you'd
might
be
just
like,
have to unlock him.
That's the guy. I can't remember the movie because there was like 7 on a day, but that's the guy. And that's how I told you before I even looked, I was like, I already know what I want my character to look like. And if he doesn't exist, I was all dicky about it. I'm like, then that's not really, you know, movies, blah, blah.
Oh, you must have been sold then.
Dude, I saw him. I was like, holy shit, there he is. Yep. You know, you got props
Just
for me.
so happy from there on out, you know,
Yeah.
especially in the spectator mode where you can see him. Oh, dude, you must have been cheesing it.
Yeah, it is cool.
It's real cool.
Who doesn't want to be the
You
old
get that
ass
big
Asian guy?
knockdown. They go flying. Oh, dude, so good.
Moving like Baby Yoda.
I love when you fight the dudes and they're just waving their arms around like, you know, super
Yeah.
defense. Oh, man.
Like to know how much authenticity went into having to review each one's.
Oh, my God. But I feel like a lot of love, a lot of labor went into this one. Probably like a love project, passion project.
Yeah, we got it. All right.
And I have a feeling it ties into his Flash games from earlier.
You
'Cause
gotta
there's some
get him on.
Yeah, we got to.
It's
All right.
gotta happen.
But if you enjoy this episode, like I said before the ad break, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Go check out the Discord, the subreddit. Again, our Patreon server. Again, if you hate ads, you know, we have ad-free subscriber options. You know, we have a bunch of different cool perks. So go check that stuff out and check you out next week.
Take care.
Ciao, ciao.